Is it difficult for your child to remain focused on their learning while they are receiving their schooling at home? If so, stay tuned. I have a strategy that may be helpful to them. Hi, welcome. My name is Dr. Mary McConnell, and I am excited to share this Part 4 video with you. I am going to share a strategy to help students self-manage their learning at home. This effective strategy is called self-monitoring and has helped many students to improve their on-task behavior. With students now receiving their learning from home due to the coronavirus pandemic, this places them in a more self-directed mode of learning that they may not be accustomed to. This new wave of instruction may be different than the way they are accustomed to receiving their instruction. As a result, it may be more difficult for some students to stay on task when completing their assignments, projects, activities, and when they are working independently without support. Yes, some students work well independently with very little supervision, while others need more support, prompts, and cues. Some students require close monitoring of their work, and some are easily distracted and again need redirection. There can be countless distractions at home. For example, parents are working from home, other siblings may be at home, pets, deliveries, and the list goes on of distractions that students may encounter on a daily basis. Not all students are able to self-direct and self-manage their learning without some support. Again, they will not have that immediate feedback or face-to-face contact with their teachers. So some students may benefit from self-monitoring. And self-monitoring is a strategy that will help students remain focused and on task while learning from home. And self-monitoring is not a new strategy. It's been around for many, many years. Again, with self-monitoring, students learn to monitor, and at the same time, they are directing their own behavior. Rather than having the teacher manage or parent manage, it moves to student managed behavior. So, for example, rather than the parent directing and asking the student or their son or daughter, are you on task? Are you working? Do you have what you need? Do you understand your assignment? Do you know what to do next? Students become self-managers of their own behavior. They are thinking and they are processing and then they are acting. And this is what makes it such a powerful strategy, that they are going through those steps of thinking about it and processing. So I am going to focus on 3 areas that students can self-monitor while working at home. And they are on-task behavior, organizational skills, and assignment completion. And there are many, many benefits for self-monitoring. It helps students with their independence and it helps them to take on personal responsibility for what they are working on, their actions. Self-monitoring can be used with all grade levels, pre-K through high school, adults. And as adults, we self-monitor all of the time. We have our checklist and we have our to-do list and we check off. So let's get started. There are 5 steps that I've tried to simplify for you to go over with your son or daughter in getting them started with self-monitoring at home. So identify what you're going to self-monitor or what your son or daughter will self-monitor. Will it be on-task behavior organization, or assignment completion. And sit down and have conversation with them to find out what area would be most helpful to them to help them stay focused and move on with their work, their assignment. Number 2, determine what questions the student will ask himself or herself. And again, keep it simple. We don't want to put any extra overload or work on students while they're working at home, because many students, again, this is a difficult time for them. It may be a stressful time for them. So we don't want to put anything too demanding on them at this time. So the questions, I would keep them simple, maybe no more than 3 questions. Am I on task? Could be a question if you are going to self-monitor for that particular area. Am I working? Do I have what I need? Or it could be, I am on task. I am working. I have what I need. Number 3, determine the type of form or format. Again, it could be listed as questions or a checklist, and just go over that with the students. I'm going to share some examples of what a self-monitoring sheet might look like. And again, we want to keep it simple. Number 4, determine the cueing or prompting system and for the students. So what cue or prompt will lead them to self-monitor? They can do it every time they recognize that they are off task. They can set a timer on their phone or stopwatch to go off every 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 3 minutes. And if they're working on an assignment that's a 30-minute assignment, then you may want to self-monitor more frequent, or if it's stretched out a little bit longer. And again, with the self-monitoring, it's something they don't have to do all day, or not necessarily all day, but during their instructional period. It could be for a short period of time. It may be just for an activity that they're working on, or a particular lesson. Looking at some sample forms, here's a sample form for I am on task. And basically the student would self-monitor and think and process, I am on task, yes, or they would check no. And then when they do that, check that, then get back to work. Here's another example of a self-monitoring sheet that stated, I am on task, and then record and get back to work. So they would check that. And here's another example of a self-monitoring form. I am on task, and they can circle yes or no. These are just some ideas of some self-monitoring forms, but they can be definitely altered to meet the needs of the students. Number 5, monitor and check in with your child to see how they're doing with the self-monitoring. Again, the 5 steps: identify what you're going to self-monitor or for the child. Or number 2, determine what questions the student will ask himself or herself to self-monitor. Number 3, determine the type of form or format, and determine, number 4, the cueing or prompting system. And number 5, monitor and check in. I hope you find this information helpful. If you want more information on how to set up a self-monitoring system for your child, you can contact me at dr.marymcconnell, MaryMcConnell, the number 7 at gmail.com. Again, I want to take this opportunity to applaud and thank our teachers and administrators for their commitment, dedication, and support that they are providing to their students at this time. Reach out, parents, to your child's teacher. Let them know you appreciate what they've done, and what they are continuing to do. Thank you for tuning in to this session. I hope this information will be helpful to you. Thank you.